Welcome back, everyone, to the NFT Nation podcast, the most relatable and reliable NFT and crypto podcast in the nation. Today, I am extremely blessed to have one of the founders of the El Taco Finance NFT collection, John, or otherwise known as Cheezus, with me today. El Taco Finance is an amazing NFT collection that is bringing power and passive income to their holders. The goal of today's episode is to learn all about the project and the people behind it. So without further ado, I would like to welcome John to the podcast. What's going on? Welcome to NFT Nation.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Definitely look answering some questions. So thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy you could join me today, and I'm really excited to learn all about your collection. So before we start kind of learning about who you are and everything like that, as well as your role in the collection, do you mind to give the audience maybe a brief summary of pretty much who you are and what you do with the collection?
Absolutely, Michael. So my name's Jonathan Mitchell. I'm one of the founders of El Taco. I am from Ohio in the U.S. I'm in sales by trade, but of course, have a lot of experience in market with options, as well as a pretty significant role, especially now with El Taco Finance in the crypto, mainly in the DeFi space. As many of you guys know, I've got 3 little kids under 6, so running the 2 jobs, as well as taking care of the kids, absolutely keeps me, pretty busy. So,
yeah, I can definitely tell, and I'm happy you were able to actually find time to join me today. I really appreciate it. And I think the audience is gonna appreciate it as well once we're done here, because they're really gonna love to learn about the collection. But can you to learn more about you and especially your kind of role in the crypto space, do you care to kind of talk about your first ever experience with crypto?
So my first ever experience with crypto actually brought Leonidas, who is our community, introduced me to crypto. Gosh, it was probably 8 years ago, 9 years ago. So it's been quite a while. So he was kind of instrumental on teaching this. He was a very early adopter. And of course, when you first get into these things, you do little stupid moves because you think it's a great, rich, quick scheme. And so just throwing around some money on some what they call shit coins, taught me the ins and outs. He has a little bit more mining experience, but I've just been playing around, obviously, first of all, with just investing into coins, and then, moving over to the DeFi space and different projects and protocols. And that's kind of where I found, at least my niche and what I liked the best, having a little bit of that passive income, being able to interact with that's kind of, what we, as well as myself, actually enjoyed doing. So yeah, we've been in this for quite some time, and like I said, I have Leonidas to thank for getting me into this space.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's great to hear that you've been here for so long. It's great to learn from people that have been in the crypto space for so long, because a lot of people are kind of brand new, you could say, and someone like me who's only been here for about a year and a half, or almost 2 years. It's really cool to learn from someone that's been here for almost a decade, or actually over a decade, almost a decade. But
the greatest thing, even though being here for a year, the space changes so much, so quick, with so many new projects that are coming out that are, rapidly changing just the landscape of crypto and DeFi. So, even though I have the experience, that helps out in some ways, being new, because there are so many new things. It's not too bad being the new guy, but I do understand that, there are that, are a little trickier to navigate than others.
Yeah, yeah. And kind of on that topic, can you explain your first experience with NFTs?
Yeah, so back when NFTs really started getting a buzz a couple years ago, I started to get into the um, a lot of what I did was I liked that there was a voice now for artists and the talent. So, I would just search around like every person does on Twitter, looking for talented people that were not able to get the vision or their vision out to the public. Different kind of works that resonated with me. I actually reached out to about a dozen or so artists and actually helped them with their marketing, setting up channels, setting up different contests to help get their word out and help grow their brand. And some of them have actually been successful artists so far. So that was kind of my first role. And, I did all this just, I never got paid. I never got any free NFTs. I did it the love of art in general and what they did. And like I said, I feel like being an artist and having that much talent, a lot of that gets kind of hidden because it's very hard to make a living on something like that. And now these people have a platform and, like I said, a voice to be able to share their creativity. And that's what really drew me to the NFTs. So I kind of, like I said, I got started in this just by helping out artists that didn't really know how to navigate the platforms and just tried to build up their base. And I've really had some great friendships and even long-lasting friendships just from something as simple as that.
That's awesome. Like, on the kind of topic of friendships and everything, it's crazy the amount of people not only I've met, but what I would consider like acquaintances from doing this podcast and being in Twitter Spaces or just being on Twitter or Discord group. It's Discord kind of chats. It's really a inviting community, I would say, especially with Web3 and crypto. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, and so we started doing some AMAs, and it's just the people that you get to meet that you would never interact with before. I was interviewing a guy who was actually a successful hedge fund. He runs a successful hedge fund. He also does quantum trading. And then,
Wow.
I interviewed some guy last week that was actually a farmer who has a bunch of pigs and cows that you have you have totally different aspects on things. And then, of course, you have, very talented yourself that, just graduated high school and off to college. So just a different realm of people that this brings together. Everybody interacts with and everybody has the same goal. In my eyes is amazing because you don't need money like you do, in the stock market. You just need to have the passion and the drive to want to do something successful. And that's crypto and as well as, NFTs.
I could not have said that better myself. I mean, that's a perfect kind of explanation of how I view the crypto space. I mean, there's a lot of people that are here just to make a quick buck, but when you take a step back and look at the people that are building friendships and the community aspect of it, it's awesome.
Yeah, and it really is.
Yeah, and talking about community, you are one of the founders of El Taco Finance, kind of the whole reason we are here today, and it's obviously a big NFT collection as well as a kind of built-in community. But for any of the listeners today that kind of have no clue what El Taco Finance is, do you care to give kind of a brief explanation of what it is and kind of the history of it?
Yeah, so the history, the other main founder, Josh, myself and him were, we've been talking for quite some time about trying to enter, the crypto space. We still believe that it's still in its infancy with, quite a lot of legs to go. And we've been talking to try and figure out how we can enter in this space on a project of our own. And we were actually sitting around a table drinking margaritas and eating over at his house, and just brainstorming on different projects we saw and how we thought we could possibly make them better. And project that had just minted earlier that day that kind of gave us this idea that if we could come up with an NFT, and this is kind of what El Taco Finance is. So if somebody could mint an NFT and we could use the revenue from that mint and into different protocols and projects around the DeFi space and give back the user or the investor portion of that revenue, that we believe with both of our trading experience and investing experience that we could make it both beneficial for the community, obviously beneficial for us as well. And so that's kind of a 40,000 foot high view. Is we have right now 6,500 tacos. We did release, we're going to be on our third phase within the next few days that we're going to launch. We had our first phase was a soft launch to where we just opened it up for about a week, and we did mint some tacos. We came back and kind of switched around the marketing plan and introduced the remaining 500 tacos, which we called the OG tacos. At first, we were a little naive. Our tacos and I guess our artistry, we thought, hey, we'll just slap some funny looking tacos, and we should, with our skill set, we should be able to at least bring the investing community into us. But we did find out it's a lot more difficult, but also a lot more rewarding, as we were going through this entire process. So we did sell out of our second phase, which were 500 OG tacos. Did sell for 1.5 AVAX. You can look at them on nftrade.com. Our current floor price is 7 AVAX right now, so quite a bit of a nice little bump up from where they were, and it just kind of shows the community's trust in us. And that's another thing that the community trust is a very important thing, and to show where our secondary market currently is versus our initial market. We've got to at least be doing something well. But excited to revamp our taco artistry. We brought in a YouTuber named AJ Thomas. He actually did a video on us right before we launched, and he was really dogging our tacos, and said he's an artist and he didn't really like it. And usually with not very artistry comes not very good projects. So after we sold out of our second phase, I reached out to AJ and I said, hey man, let me see what you can do, AJ. Us, so let me see what you can do. And he whipped something up in about 5 minutes and sent it back, and I thought it was awesome. So I asked him to be a part of the project, and he accepted with just about as quick as I made an offer out to him. He's really revamped our tacos, so they'll be number 501 all the way up to 6,500. So he has been working his butt off, and if I were AJ Thomas, I'd never want to draw another taco again. But he's got over about 350 different traits for the tacos. He's got boy tacos and girl tacos. He also has about 30 different unique, rare, one-of-one tacos that we've been working on with special requests through silent auctions and live auctions through our Discord, and then also just with DMs. So we also have those going. So how have I guess I'll just stop there. Stop and kind of babbling for a little bit. Was that at least a somewhat decent rundown?
Yeah. I think you explained. You kind of gave a Cliff Notes or an extended Cliff Notes version of what El Taco is, and I'm really interested in getting more in depth in a little bit. But before we do that, a lot of people in the crypto space take experience from like their real world jobs and move it into the crypto space, whether that be developing or running a NFT collection or being a founder of an NFT collection like you. And can you kind of explain how maybe your history in sales has helped you with kind of your NFT career, you could say?
Well, Honest, I don't really think my sales career has helped out in my NFT trading very much. The
Or
one thing I
maybe
do
not
think,
NFT just trading,
right,
but just running the collection, kind of
right.
making
So
it
running the
prosper.
collection, so I am in sales for a company. And what I think this has allowed me to do, because I do have some people under me, is the whole management aspect about how to um, at least delegate different tasks to different people, see open views with different people, and we kind of run our El Taco Finance as, a democracy where everybody gets a vote for things, especially the community. So having an open mind at different things, I do feel like my experience in the trading and investing world, which really is my second passion outside of my job right now, has really helped with being able to, especially in this crazy downturn of a market that we've had over the last month, we have actually kept our treasury increasing with the protocols that we're currently in, as opposed to some other NFT based projects that have lost a substantial amount. So that's one thing I can at least be happy with. So more or less my trading experience my mom would, give me $20 or so for doing, some type of chores, and I'd ask to put it in some kind of stock that I wanted. So that's kind of how I got started in that. And that's where I believe it's kind of helped me the most, at least in the investing part. And then obviously the sales part, being able to speak, sometimes not shut up, but be able to speak and market El Taco brand, and being able to eloquently describe El Taco to different people, I think is another thing that has also helped, because being in sales, you've got to get up in front of large rooms of people and explain who you are and what you do, and why whatever I'm trying to sell, and that's kind of what I have to do here as well.
That's awesome. That's really great to hear that you're taking your past experience kind of just throughout life and moving it into the crypto space to make the best collection possible, or just make a quick buck with trading. That's really cool to see. But with the back to El Taco Finance and everything, there are many reasons why someone should could become a member of the El Taco Finance community and become a taco holder. Can you give some of the things or some of the examples of how El Taco Finance is giving passive income back to their holders, and many other reasons why kind of people should become a holder of a taco?
Finance, in short, is ETF. And I want to just jump back. We actually started off our project as El Taco Node. And what we wanted to do was invest some mint revenue and do a bunch of node projects. But during the course of launch, we did see the heavy downward selling pressure of these node protocols, sunk costs, meaning once we invested into them, our money was basically gone until we were able to get that back. And that was something that didn't sit very well with us. So the reason we kind of pivoted away from El Taco Node to El Taco Finance is because we also pivoted our investment strategy to more farming and mining protocols, as opposed to the nodes. Now we do have one, which is PXT, Project X. They are a significant part of our well, not a significant, but they are our only node project that we do have. They do have they are part of our treasury, so we still wanted to incorporate that, but I would say almost 75% of our other treasury is invested into the staking and or farming and rebasing systems with our partnership. So what we do right now, at least since we have we did release our first phase on March 23rd, our second phase in late April 26th, and then we're going to be releasing our third phase here within the upcoming days. But what we've done weekly lottery giveaways. And the weekly lottery giveaways, we are taking 40% of the revenue that we accumulate and we're giving it back to the taco holders. So every taco that you hold, you have an opportunity to win a specific coin or, PXT nodes that you can go ahead and invest into our partner's protocol. And that's how we've been running this. And then back, as we always like to try and evolve. So as we were releasing phase 2, we needed a way to evolve because we felt if you only had one taco, your chances of winning were, 1 in 500. Once we release these other 600, your chance of winning is 1 out of 6,500, which isn't very good. Let's just be honest. So we didn't want people to get discouraged with being part of the project and being part of the community. So we are, upon phase 3 launch, we are instilling another way of doing things. So instead of doing a weekly giveaway, we're moving them to an every other week giveaway. And in between, we are actually going to be airdropping all of our tacos stablecoin. So what that's going to do is it's going to allow the community to reach to get an ROI, the return on investment, over a certain period of time, but they will be guaranteed to get something every other week. So even if you are not a winner giveaway, you can still earn this stable coin. So we believe that would at least incentivize people to continue to. So you don't have to log into anything. You don't have to be present to anything. All we're going to do is just drop it directly into your wallet. So you could buy an and forget about it and look at your wallet, and every other week you'll have that there. And if you do win something on the weekly giveaways, again, those are automatically dropped to your wallet. You don't have to check. But it also is, the more tacos you hold, the bigger the airdrops will get. If you hold 1 taco, you get 1x of the airdrop. If you hold 25 tacos, you get 25x of the airdrop.
So earlier you talked about how you kind of continue to go through phases with the collection, how you all improved and decided to kind of change things up as you moved along. Can you explain the difference in how you all have improved through maybe phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and beyond?
Yeah, so obviously our first phase was our soft launch. We thought it would be relatively easy, but as we were making our project, there were several projects that were also coming out with the same idea. So we knew we had to differentiate ourselves, and we did bring in quite a bit of very intelligent people onto I guess our foundership community. We started off with at least all of our the Ohio area. We all lived within 30 to 40 minutes of each other, depending on what little traffic is in Ohio. So we all do know each other, but we started to bring in some additional people that could provide that we were kind of lacking. And as the project grew, we needed to obviously pass off different different things. So we did bring in a marketing specialist. Okay, his name is Doug, and then he kind of thought of taco to have that OG taco, which is the first 500 original gangster, have some additional utility, more so that would build up the core of the community. An OG taco holder will get a free, every other month they'll just get a free OG only lottery. I'm going to say we are going to have an OG only mint that is a significantly reduced price from even our whitelist coming up for phase 3. I have not yet, so that is the first one here. And then they also get whitelist for life here moving forward on any projects or any other generations that we do. And then, as I stated earlier, we didn't want people to get discouraged because they were not winning. So that's why we came up with the airdrop, with the airdrop every other week. We are also going to be giving back to the community and the foundership an extra 10% of our so what we're going to do is all of the founders are giving up 10%, 10% total of their cut back to the community. Initially, we had the nodes and those were sunk costs. And because farming and staking are not sunk costs, we can pull that out and pivot our how we see fit. And if any, project that we are currently in and something else comes, that we feel is going to be a better fit, we can simply pull that out and move to it. But the community is going to be able to decide where they want to put that extra 10%. So they can put it an extra 10% into compounding, an extra 10% in the giveaways, or split it up 5%, 5%. And we'll do that on a monthly basis. So that's kind of how, like I said, we started off with nodes, then we went to farming and staking. We really like this, especially during the downturn. A lot of the tomb forks are relatively strong and continuing to print during this downturn. So that's been very good for us, and we've been able to maintain and grow our treasury. We're continually compounding 30 to what will be up to 4 of our treasury here coming up. Instilling the airdrops to where, everybody will be able to reach buy, and depending on how the market goes, because we are compounding 30% of the total treasury every single week, those will hopefully be able to continue to grow. They'll be able to grow with the community, and the longer somebody is with us, obviously the more and more that they are going to get airdropped.
That's awesome. Talking about the fact that the longer you're with us, obviously the more you will be able to get airdropped with something like the OG tacos that are kind of the first edition of El Taco Finance. Can you talk about the difference in the NFTs that El Taco Finance has?
Yeah, so we didn't want to create, any of, taco that was going to have an additional advantage over the next one. So all tacos are created equal. Every, the same chance to win as the next taco. So even if you hold 1 OG taco or 20 OG tacos or 20 phase 3 tacos, you still get the same opportunity to win as the next guy. As I said earlier, the OG taco, a little extra utility with having an OG only whitelist, an OG only lottery giveaway to be 1 to 500 versus 1 to 6,500. And really, we just wanted to keep it on a level playing field, because try make the OG tacos have some type of, significant just eliminate some of the other new protocol. And we wanted everybody to have that same advantage and every chance to win. So really, we do have the OGs that have a little, better utility. Everybody from phase 1 all the way up till phase 3 will have the opportunity to win in the weekly giveaways, as well as the airdrops. There's not going to be any significant difference. And also the phase 3 will be released 1.5 AVAX per taco. At this point, with AVAX going down roughly 75%, when we are only looking at about $42 per taco, where we were to do about $92 during our first few phases. So they're actually coming at quite a bit of a discount right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really it's very admirable for you all to kind of create the all tacos are equal. And I really appreciate that, just because, especially for newer people that want to get into the collection and start kind of just getting into many different collections and begin to earn rewards, they don't want to have to just be out-competed by people that have been there for a year or even 2, just because they're new to the game and didn't even know about it. But talking about how you mentioned, like, for the future of the project and like the big goals, can you explain like any big plans in the near future that the audience can kind of look out for, or any big collaborations? Just what's the plan for the future for this project?
Well, that's a good question. We are coming out with our phase 3 in a couple days. That will be all by AJ Thomas. And like I said, we're having those airdrops. I think I've only mentioned that about 10 times now. So right now, those are the big, that's what we've been gearing up towards. We have announced some new partnerships with Gold, as well as the Alto protocol, which is a rebase system. And we do have a couple others that we are currently in discussion with that I can't quite say yet. But we have working up our partnerships, but they have been going a little on the slow side just because our partnerships are highly vetted. And this isn't something we generally jump into, a day or two after. Now we do some collab and give away some whitelists between, different communities, but that's more like and not a partnership. So we will have some additional whitelists if this is aired. Jump in our Discord and let us know you listened, and we can go ahead and give you guys any listeners a whitelist spot. It's 1.25 AVAX for as opposed to 1.5, which will be for the public mint. So anybody listening, jump in our Discord, El Taco Finance on Twitter, and we'll absolutely give you one away as long as we haven't launched our phase 3, and so that should still be a couple.
Yeah, awesome. Not only should the viewers join the whitelist, I will be in there as well. I'm very excited to become a part of El Taco Finance and become a holder myself. But with that kind of out of the way, if any of the viewers maybe miss the whitelist or won't be able to kind of join it, where can they either mint or purchase one of your all's NFTs?
So, we do have a website in which you can mint at eltacofinance.com. You should be able to mint directly on our site from there. If we are sold out, which cross my fingers, then we will have our secondary site, which will be nftrade.com. You can search El Taco Node for any of the OG tacos, and then you will be able to, once we mint, El Taco Finance will be for the phase 3 tacos and that we may put out for that.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you letting all the fans or the audience know where they can find or become a part of the El Taco Finance community. But with that out of the way, I kind of want to give you the floor before I ask my final question. I want to give you the floor to maybe let the audience know anything you think is important, or kind of just your social media and everything. So I know you already did that, but I'll give you the floor right now.
All right, well, I appreciate it. Again, thank you for having us. So, one of the main things that at least El Taco Finance, is more geared towards is it can go both towards the whales and the newcomers. And why I like to say the newcomers is because, we are involved in a lot of tomb forks and a lot of rebasing. We kind of take the thought process out of it for you, because some of these tomb forks and rebasing, especially when you're new to the crypto space, can be very overwhelming, to where we do have a lot of in this. And instead of, if you have, let's just say you have $50 and you wanted to get in Great Finance or EMP, that's not going to get you very far. But Great Finance, EMP, PXT, Walrus Finance, Gold Mint, by owning one taco, you get a little piece of all of this. So we are almost like, as our acronym is, El Taco Finance, we're almost like an ETF, electronically traded fund for the stock markets, but more so for the crypto DeFi. So you do have opportunity or a part to join in each one of these great protocols. And we do have more coming, like Alto, that I can't name, upon our phase 3 when we get some additional treasury revenue. But it's a small cost to be a part of a lot of great protocols. And as I've said, especially with this 50 to 75% downturn in where we were about a month and a half ago, our treasury is still with giving out up close to $5,000 now in prizes, even through this downturn. So that's where I believe that, we're more geared towards the newer investor, as well as, even if you have experience and you are a type of a whale, just be able to hold on to these and possibly get lottery, because that's really where, if you do hit on one or two of those, you're going to achieve your ROI within the very first lottery that you win. So that's something that you can scoop up, especially with the cost of AVAX at an extremely cheap price, as well as still receiving those airdrops every other week. So that's really, kind of how I wanted to end it. This is for a little bit of everybody. And like I said, I do believe that the newer teams or the newer investor, would something like this, because it doesn't take a whole lot to be involved in. Our community is some of the best people that I have ever been a part of. They're there to help. They're there to ask questions. Myself, I always have my DMs open. If you have any questions, and even if you aren't a taco holder, and you want to learn a little bit more about tune forks and how they work and what the best strategy is. Now, I probably don't have the best strategies, but I can at least guide you into some of, the strategies that we're currently working more along the safer strategies and not risky, because obviously we value the community right now, and trust is of utmost importance. DM me at any point with any type of questions, and I can absolutely walk you through anything that you have to ask. Any question?
Yeah, awesome. I will definitely have the links to everything you need for El Taco Finance in the show notes. So if anyone's listening today and wants to go check it out, that will be easy to access. But before we go, John, I want to thank you again for coming on. I want to thank the viewers for listening today. I really appreciate the whole reason we are here. But for my last question, I ask it to every podcast guest I have. It is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh boy, there's so many superpowers to think of that I would like to have, but would I get myself in too much trouble if I had that? If I had them, like, I think being invisible would be super cool, but if I were invisible, would I get myself into trouble? Probably. I think flying, as long as I don't fly super slow. I want to fly fast like Superman. I travel. Before COVID, I used to travel a lot to work. So if I could fly, that would be the best. I could put my kids on my back. We could go anywhere for a week. So I live in Ohio. I hate the winter. I hate the cold. If I could take a weekend and put my kids on my back, and we could fly down to Florida or Mexico for a couple days, and I could fly them super speed back and not have to pay plane tickets and spend 3 hours being in an airport, that would be my superpower.
Yeah,
I would fly,
awesome.
But it's got to be fast. I'm not going to be a slow flyer. It'll be a fast flyer. Let's do it. That would be my superpower.
Awesome. That's amazing. I love that. But thank you again for coming on today. Thank you all the listeners out there for listening today. If you all did enjoy this episode and you kind of want to help us grow the podcast here, you can do one of many things, which is you can follow us on our social media and like some of our posts and share some of our posts. Our social medias will be in the show notes as well, and that is at NFT_nation_podcast on all the different platforms. Also, feel free to leave 5 stars on this Spotify kind of page, because when you leave 5 stars, it tells Spotify, hey, NFT Nation, it might be pretty small, but people really enjoy the content. Also, if you want a friend or even a family member to learn about this podcast and learn about El Taco Finance as well, feel free to share this episode with them as well. So, John, really want to thank you again for coming on today's podcast. I really appreciate you kind of coming through your busy schedule and explaining to everyone what El Taco Finance is and kind of the future of the collection. So, yeah, if you don't have anything else to say, I think we're going to head out here.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. It was an absolute great time, and we will speak here soon. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, and thank the listeners. See you guys.